You got your brewski? Oh, hold on. I was getting cut off.
Basically empty, but yes, we've been
You chugged it before the show.
I've been baby sipping it, but we've been trying to figure out how to do this for 3 hours.
Oh, the technology is just a struggle sometimes.
A couple of engineers
You
can't
don't mention
figure
that
out-
part.
can't figure out how to record a video. Oh my gosh. But yes,
This
I
is
feel
what
like
you call
most people
relatable,
have
real
had
life struggles.
a Reds hard apple.
We've been talking about Germany a lot, so I got me a little German Oktoberfest / Marzen.
I went to the Helen Oktoberfest recently.
And now we got to see what it's like in legit Germany.
I'm saying.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting, you'll spend it and be broke again. Stop wasting time on some nonsense and instead put it in a lesson. I know it's boring, but it's worth it at the end. I know.
But to the news you've all been waiting for.
5 minutes later.
Or a little before we jumped on the call, we were talking about your investment strategy adjustment. So what kind of adjustment / reconfiguring, restructuring are you doing?
Saving mostly towards a house right now, so a lot of funds that I had going towards, let's say, stocks and crypto and stuff has been redirected to real estate, which I've been kind of planning on putting a stop on crypto for a while now, so that didn't really bother me. Still staying consistent with the 401k, Roth IRA. Those are all things you should try and stay consistent with as much as you can.
Love it. So did you narrow down your market, or are you still up to like 5 or 6?
Primarily just the main Southeast, Georgia, Florida, I guess, South Carolina, North Carolina.
Now you're throwing that in there.
Yeah, I have to.
You got called out off
good enough
screen.
points. Yeah, made a good enough points about Florida and everything. And it does seem like a great market, really growing. I like what they're doing down there. I mean, I don't know if there's anybody who's in real estate who says Florida's a bad place to invest. There's plenty of people that say California's a bad place, New York's a bad place. A lot of places up north. A lot of people will only invest in warm areas, which makes sense both for short-term and long-term rentals. So
I know it's a Grant Cardone strategy. He says eventually everybody wants to be warm. Later in your life, you got that thin skin. You're gonna move south. So why not own the market?
Yeah, so Florida definitely wouldn't be a bad spot. And I've traveled enough to the Carolinas for work to get a decent idea about it. And they got some great cities in the Carolinas. Definitely slept on, but Carolinas, Georgia, Florida, all good markets in my opinion.
So you're still pretty open. And are you planning on
not
putting 20% down?
No. I'll do the FHA loan. I ain't got 50K sitting around for a 20% down on a $250,000 house. So and most houses don't cost that anymore. Now, getting into the real estate market as a whole, there's a lot of controversy about it now. A lot of people are saying anywhere from a 5 to 10% correction by the end of 2023. So a lot of people are, questioning whether or not you should buy now or not. I like to think about
everybody,
it. Whoa,
we got to pause the video. Everybody listen up. This is Taylor's view on what's about to happen. So we're going to put in the comments, skip to this section if you want to know the future market. He's calling it here. He's calling it now.
Okay, well, I don't know about all that, but I would say that more people are considering that interest rates might continue to increase through the end of the year, maybe up to 9% or so. They're around 7s now.
Yeah.
Which is already a crazy number. I mean, if you look back at it and 6 months ago to a year ago, you're getting like the 4s and 5s. Some people got down in the 3s and the like best low interest rate times, but
for sure. It was crazy.
It's like, do I buy now? Well, interest rates are high, but they could be higher. Who knows, really? And of course, anytime you get locked into a fixed interest rate now, you can always refinance later down the road when they do go down. And if you want to look at it in the philosophy that a lot of people do, like Warren Buffett, he always says that when people are kind of scared to buy, that's when you have the greatest opportunity to make money, which would definitely be true in the case of these high interest rates. A lot of people are very scared right now. While this supply is going up, because a lot of people are still trying to capitalize on these, crazy high markets and everything. a lot of interest is going down. A lot of people don't want to take on those high interest rates and everything, especially, when you think about it, of someone who maybe bought a house in the last couple of years, they've been locked in at 3 or 4%. They're probably not looking to move right now because, they'd be putting themselves back out into a market where they'd have to take on 7% now. So
Yeah.
it's a real interesting market for sure.
So
So
buying, like we just said, buying a house during this time of uncertainty and high interest rates is kind of unorthodox, kind of unknown for, I would say, the average folk.
sure.
Obviously, the Warren Buffetts and the people that are a little bit more versed are going to say otherwise. They're saying this is the sweet spot. Dave Ramsey even says this is the sweet spot. It's what you want. So, how much are you setting aside? I guess, how much of your income are you saving in order to save yourself? I guess for an emergency situation, as well as saving for a house. So, what overall your income? What percentage are you putting aside?
So I already kind of have an emergency fund set. I set that up a long time ago. If you guys looked at our budgeting video, it's one of the first things we said should kind of have. Kind of varies a little bit on your circumstances and everything, but definitely at least a few months of all your expenses you can just have saved as your little emergency fund. If things go horribly wrong, you lose your job, yada yada, you'll have that fund. So I already had that established. But right now I'm saving somewhere between 25 and 35%, I think it came out to, of my income. I have it on a sheet. I'd have to look it up, but somewhere around there. I had made one adjustment recently because I had an automatic just transfer to one of my brokerages, not including the Roth and 401k. And I lowered that to a certain number. I can't remember exactly what I set it to, but that I think bumped it up to closer to 35% if it's what I think I set it to. So given that, I did increase it in that sense. That was a month ago, just to kind of better prepare, but we'll kind of see how it goes. And of course,
Okay.
a lot of houses right now are overpriced. It's hard to find a deal, but it's not impossible, guys. And that's the most important thing, is how we're talking about, all these interest rates and everything going up. You just have to know how to kind of run your numbers and find the deal that works for you. Obviously, I'm not saying go buy any house at this 7% interest or whatever, because you can definitely get screwed here. So you still need to run your numbers. Don't go out and buy anything, but deals are still out there. They might just be a little harder to come by, but there are fewer people right now kind of competing for those deals because the overall kind of market is down. People are looking less right now. So
Yeah, and a lot of people are talking about how the home prices are starting to fall, or the asking price is starting to fall for homes across the country, and some markets are already down 10, 15%.
yeah,
I don't want to speak for all markets, but for the most part, from what I've seen in my area and one other area that I've really looked at, I would say I don't know if they're falling or they're more becoming more realistic.
yeah,
Because in that craziness where everything was just shooting up, you could have the ugliest house that you bought in 2019 and triple your profit, sell it for triple what you bought it, and you didn't do anything. You didn't even paint it.
yeah,
And just because everybody was snatching and grabbing everything they could. So that same person that could have sold it for triple, now say he can sell it for 2.5 times. You're like, okay, like the house, the valuer is asking is falling. Yes, but at the same time, like I just think he's becoming more realistic. Or a
mhm,
lot of these people being with less demand and not as many people coming after him and asking for his house off market, let alone on market, he just is forced to go, okay, the demand isn't as high, and supply is going up. That means I'm going to have to actually say what it does. Because you would see on Zillow, the estimate or whatever would be, say,
yeah,
200,000, and they're asking 275. You're like, dude, it kind of gives it away right there that you're a little high. I understand we're in a hot market and you have the power, but you're like, that's a little rich. But it would sell for 300. Now they'll say 275. You're like, yeah, but I don't think it's worth that. And I have to put the money in. So it's kind of getting back into the buyer's hands, which
yeah,
is why it's such a good market for investors.
mhm,
Now they have the leverage and the power. And before there were so many people competing that cash offers weren't, they did compete a little bit more, but at the same time there's so many people they would just go that much over asking. Now cash is
oof,
actually worth something because it's just you and one other person. You're like, hey, look, I'll give you 50 grand less, but I'll give it hard cash right now. and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, that's a pretty big deal. So I see the market definitely cooling off.
Yeah.
And it's
And
kind of
I know
like
some people
if
are kind
it's
of waiting for a crash. If you're waiting for a full-on crash, chances are you'll be waiting for a long time, because I haven't really heard that many people that I consider pretty well versed in the space to say that there will be a crash. A lot of people are saying this is a correction, like even how people are saying there might be a 10% correction. That's nothing like the crash back in like '08, where things were dropping almost a third, and everyone was like, or a lot of people were on adjustable rates as opposed to fixed rates, and their
yeah.
rates went way up and their values went way down. So if you're waiting for that kind of thing, you know there's enough federal policies and stuff in place to where it's kind of set to never be able to happen again, really. So you know that's another kind of thing to consider when you're trying to time this market.
In all honesty, like if it crashes, the only thing to really do is be prepared. And you don't want to necessarily hyper focus on the future because it's so unpredictable.
Mhm.
Well, I guess you can predict a little bit of the future, but it's not anything I would put all my eggs in that one basket to say this is definitely going to happen. And anything to do with the future. So all you can do is prepare, like we're always talking about. And more than just say save, try and come up with a number. If you're shooting for, like Arnold or Taylor, you're shooting for buying a $300,000 house that's a fixer upper, and you want to put 50,000 into it. You need 3% down. Do that math. Do that reverse math, and get back to that number. What is 3% of 300,000 or 3%? Say you're gonna finance all of the rehab. You need the rehab plus 3.5 or 3%. What is that
Mhm.
number? That's your goal. Cut all your bad debt, because that's just taking money out of your pocket. While the real estate side of things, the stock market side of things, a lot of these assets, the laundromat, whatever you have going, your business that you're investing in, it's creating your money, or eventually will create money for you. Do what you can in those things. Get rid of that bad debt and hyper focus on saving and save
Yeah.
and save and save. If your goal isn't to buy a house, but to grow your business, focus on investing more in your business. Just don't get distracted. That's the hard part, is including myself. I constantly get distracted about I have shiny object syndrome when it comes to investing. I want to invest in everything, and
Sure.
the next big thing some guy did, super successful, super fast, he blew up. I'm like, okay, how, why can I do this?
Yeah.
And so that's the next thing, like that. I always have to get myself focused back on track. And just like that, we appreciate you guys watching, and hope you follow us on all the social media and reach out. Even if simply like the video and say you like the video, we'd love to hear it. We personally obviously go into every comment, try to respond,
Yeah.
because we enjoy the interaction,
Yeah.
on
And going
TikTok,
off that,
Twitter, and YouTube and all.
give us some feedback on this video format. We're trying something different. We've been trying so many different things to kind of simplify and streamline this process, because we want to get as much content out to you guys as possible. I know we've been slacking a little bit, but we've been trying to experiment with different things. We worked for a few hours today alone trying to figure out the best way to kind of record things and make it simple and easy to edit so we can get it out to you guys quicker. But let us know your feedback, or if you have any ideas or ways that we can kind of do this, because we're in two separate states right now. I'm in Georgia, Ryan's in Florida, and depending on the time, we may be in different locations entirely. He may be in Puerto Rico, I may be some random place, who knows where. He may be who knows where. Yeah.
But thank you guys for watching, as always. New video coming soon, and TikToks and YouTubes, or TikToks and Twitter is what we're on probably day to day. So hit us up.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
And
we're outie like a belly button.
Stop wasting money on that dumb shit and instead put it in investment. I know it's tempting, you'll spend it and be broke again. Stop wasting time on some nonsense and instead put it in a lesson. I know it's boring, but it's worth it at the end. I know.